Churches face a lot of risk, and a lot of the time they do so with limited funds and resources. There are 5 key areas insurance companies are looking at when it comes to insuring churches in 2023. The good news is most churches can properly address these issues, even on a limited budget. Let's dive into them. I am Adam Sheridan with Reed Brothers Insurance, and one area of insurance that we focus specifically on is insuring churches. From small community congregations to large multi-location churches, we've built insurance programs for each level of your church. So, what does your church need to be on the lookout for in 2023? Number one, we talk about this more in depth in another video, but reviver statutes are creating more sexual abuse claims. Long story short, a reviver statute is state legislation that allows adult survivors of childhood abuse to bring forward civil claims even after the statute of limitations has passed. How your church can prepare for this in the future and protect the youth at your church largely depends on the controls that your church has in place. There are a lot of questions that your church needs to make sure that they're handling properly here. The cost to implement proper safety controls is very, very low, and every church should make this a top priority. Number 2, make your old or new buildings smart. A lot of churches, especially in smaller communities, have older houses of worship. This means that a lot of them have original electrical, plumbing, and other systems that are likely to be deteriorating. With limited funds, there may be even more strain on your church to address this efficiently. While larger churches probably have people in and out the doors on a more daily basis, smaller churches likely only see foot traffic 2 to 3 days a week max. Let technology be your friend here. COVID amplified this with live streaming services becoming the standard, but what I'm talking about here is increased security and monitoring. At the very least, it's a great idea to have cameras on the outside of your church buildings to monitor activity of all those that are coming and going, especially when it's not church time. You can keep a closer eye on suspicious activity, intruders, or even simple slip and falls of guests. Take this a little step further, and it'd be a great idea to have some cameras inside as well in high traffic areas. Other smart devices your church should consider, especially those that I mentioned that only see foot traffic 2 to 3 days a week. Install some devices to monitor leaking or standing water. If that refrigerator, HVAC, or water heater leaks on a Monday morning at 2 a.m., how long is it going to be before someone discovers that leak? Having sensors tied to a central monitoring system allow alerts to be sent out to multiple church leaders, and the water could be shut off within minutes rather than days. A bonus one here is to set your HVAC systems up on a mobile app and make sure your heat and air is running on a schedule based on that foot traffic. With rising heat and electric costs, this is one area where your church can save some real money by doing this properly. Plus, having access to it on an app allows specific church members again to monitor the temperature of those buildings. It's going to be way better to know on a Thursday if the heat or air condition gives out rather than when your congregation walks in on Sunday morning, right? Number 3, cybersecurity. This may seem unrelated for smaller, older churches, but a lot of victims of cyber crimes are the older generations. Cyber criminals could easily use a phishing attempt, something like the email address of your pastor, treasurer, or a church leader, to email church members requesting money for urgent needs. A lot of churches are moving to e-giving. If your church accepts credit cards, bank account info, etc. through your website, your church needs to make sure that the proper controls and encryption is in place here. For larger churches with many employees, your church needs to make sure that they have the proper internet use policies in place, trainings, and multi-factor authentication. Number 4, make sure your property values are adequate on your insurance policy. Yes, this one will cause your insurance premium to rise some, but the cost to not do this properly could sink the future of your church. The last thing you need is to hope for a successful GoFundMe to raise a couple $100,000 because you didn't want adequate building limits that was going to raise your premium a couple $100. With the increased cost of building materials plus factoring in inflation, there's a good chance that your church couldn't be built back for the value that's on your policy right now. Number 5, and this one is pretty much out of your hands, but has to deal with catastrophes. For Kentucky and the Midwest specifically, this focuses more on tornadoes, major hail events, and in some areas, wildfires. But this is why number 4 is so important. Another one not on everyone's radar just happened at Christmas. The amount of damage from frozen pipes across Kentucky and across the Midwest was catastrophic. If you have more questions about your church insurance program, you can give us a call, 606-679-6311. You can email us, or you can visit our website at rbisomerset.com. On there, you'll find more information and videos just like this to answer any questions you have, including an interactive graphic to pinpoint areas of your church that may be exposed to a potential claim. Thank you, and we look forward to working with you.